Alright guys, I'm Brad with Tactical Development. Today we're going to look at the X macro and the XL and do some comparisons and some side-by-sides and some more in-depth analysis on differences and similarities. Okay guys, we are here. Got a little piece of dust, let's get that off. Jeez, dust on my guns? No, these are go in the safe and never get used. No, we're looking at the new X macro from Sig Sauer and the P365 XL from Sig Sauer. So while we got all this out here, let's just go ahead and talk about why we have this laid out this way. So with the X macro, you only have capability of a 17 round mag. You cannot go shorter without some kind of a retro adapter for these older mags. But with the XL, you've got a flush fitting 12, you've got a 15, and you've got the 17. This is our prototype base pad for it, which looks pretty gnarly right now, but we'll get it in production here shortly. And then one other thing to note also, on the macro, you need to factor in that extra length of the magazine when it's in, whereas the XL, you're flush fitting with the 12. The macro, the base pad cannot get smaller. I've had a lot of people ask. If you look here, the magazine, let's see if we can get that in focus. That magazine is actually extended out past the frame, and so you're not going to get that any shorter. And so that's just some of the advantages of the XL frame, some of the advantages of the macro frame. You've got the interchangeable back strap to get small, medium, and large. Comes with your medium. This one is the large. It's not a whole lot larger, but it is. And yeah, same footprint for the optics, same slide length. This one just happens to be the Spectre comp slide, so similar comping on the front. And then you get the integrated rail on here. And that's something where we want to go ahead and bring in an accessory that we make. If you're not familiar with what we do, we make a bunch of accessories for the 365, and one of them is this rail adapter. And this rail adapter gives you the pick rail on your XL. So this will fit on any X standard or XL frame, and we have different sizes depending on your slide length. And so that's kind of what that does, while still giving you the ability to run all the different mag lengths, even the 10 round where it's pinned at 10. And there we go. And while we're here, let's go ahead and show you that early release of the 17 round base pad in the XL. That's kind of what we're looking at. And so just wanted to make that point, but I do want to just compare these out of the box. Again, this one does have our trigger that we've designed, and it'll drop into any, because the FCUs are still interchangeable. We still get that question a ton. Can you put the FCU in? Can you swap the slide? Yes, yes, yes. It's still a 365. It just has a different, longer grip with a rail. All right, so they do have the interchangeable FCUs. So everything's still interchangeable: triggers, slides, and frames. So you can buy a macro and go drop an XL frame or an X frame or a standard frame on it. So it's great. Also, real quick, we do, so if you followed me for any time, this is my personal carry. This is another accessory that we've designed. Again, we have the rail on the bottom, but we also have this, what we call the Pro Ledge, to give your finger some recoil management. And while we're here, we'll get a lot of questions. This is a Norso slide with the Parker Mountain comp. Great setup. On paper, it should compensate a little bit more than the Spectre slide or the macro slide here, just because barrel length is slightly longer and a few other little factors that have left my mind at this moment, but there we are. And this was stippled by my buddy over at Lakeside Gripworks. Great guys over there. All right, we talked about rails. Let's go ahead and talk about the Wilson Combat Grip. A lot of people really like the Wilson Combat Grip. Our rail adapter works also for the Wilson Combat Grip, so if you really like the feel of the slightly longer Wilson Combat Grip, our rails do fit on that also. And so you kind of have these options here. We're gonna kind of set the mags off to the side for a second and just kind of put the options out on the table. Because these are XLs and then the macro. So Wilson Combat standard grip with our rails. These two have our rails. This is just stock XL grip. We want to talk about lights real quick. Lights that are going to fit on the macro are the TLR7, the TLR7A, the TLR8, and the TLR sub 1913 version. And so those will fit on there. They'll fit on these. And then the Enforce Wild 1 right there does not fit without an aftermarket key on the macro, but it will fit on our rails. Same with the Surefire XC1 fits on our rails, but it does not fit on the macro. The Olight series of Mini 2 and the Balder Mini will fit on any of them because they have that adjustable rail, which is handy, but they will sit lower because they are a thicker light. And so that's kind of lights right now that fit. We have a few of the larger weapon lights like the TLR1 and the Surefire X300 that we've made keys for that fit our rail. And again, don't fit here. That's just because they've made their rail about a 1/16 of an inch shorter, and so it actually makes a big impact on some of these lights not fitting. All right, so one thing that I suggest to people that are asking, okay, which one do I get? I ask them if they've already got a 365 and they carry it concealed, which magazine do they carry it concealed with? Are they carrying it concealed with a 15 round in the magazine? Or do you carry it with your 12 round mag in the magazine? If you're carrying it with your 12 in the magazine, you're adding a bunch of length by adding the macro. And we can go ahead and show that. Let's line this up on top and see if I can do that, guys. Oh, we gotta put the mag in because that is actual length that you cannot remove. So I'm gonna stand up and get a little bird's eye view here. So you're adding that much length. Deal? Dealio. All right, and then if you carry with a 15 and you're able to conceal carry that, then you're seeing that again. Let's zoom back in. It makes more sense to carry the macro. We'll have to go and put the macro on top because as you can see, it's what's the word? Negligible difference. But you're getting 2 rounds. And so if you're carrying with the 15, grab the macro frame, it's worth it. But if you're carrying with the 12 or a 10, you're adding forced length that you can't get rid of. Whereas on here, you can carry the 17 if you want to, or you can carry it as a backup, and there you go. You've got the same magazine capacity. All right, guys. One thing I do want to note that are different on the macro frame, and I've talked about it in some of my Instagram live videos. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I kind of talked about all this as it was happening, as I got this. We wanted to make a more official video. The frame is a little bit thicker. You can see right here, these lines right here and right here. Those 2 spots are where the frame gets thicker by a 0.05 inches. So it's not a ton, but it is thicker. All right, and so what you see here is where the FCU sits on the frame. This is the XL, this is the macro. That duck, that's the SIG 365 duck if you've never seen it. You can paint that orange or however you want. Oh yeah, we're zooming now. There we go. That duck sits a little lower on the macro, which if you take these apart and set the frames flat on the table, you will notice that you can get your hand just ever so slightly higher on this frame, just by like a 32nd. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit. So it's just a little bit more. And you'll probably see a lot of videos talking about how great the X macro shoots, and it's true, it shoots flatter because it's got the comped slide on here, but if you compare it to an XL that's comped, you're gonna see the same shootability. very minor advantages of the higher beaver tail. So hopefully that's enough information that you can make a decision if you're wanting to grab that macro or maybe wait for the frame to come out, because you carry with a 15 and now you're going to get more capacity out of almost the exact same length, or if you're okay to stay with the XL or grab the XL where you have that modular compatibility with more magazines and different lengths. All right, one other thing I wanted to point out with the macro versus the XL is the mag release. The mag release is extended, so it's flat design versus the focus versus that curved design that curves with the grip. These are somewhat interchangeable. You can put this mag release in here, but then you have to get rid of this changed cap. This cap is different to be flush with this frame. So that kind of tells you that overall this frame is a little bit thicker. But then you could get an extended mag release from SIG. I'm assuming they'll be releasing these independently in not too long of a time. All right, guys, real quick, wanted to talk about base pads we're developing for the macro. So these are both standard 17 round mags, and we have this one which is a +2. So how many is that? Come on, count with me, guys. 17, 18, 19 +1. You always have to say +1 when you're talking about magazine capacity on a gun. So you're getting 20 rounds in here. So boom. And we have one that's gonna fill the gap. These are early prototypes. This is not gonna have this line on the back. We've gotta adjust that. And then we will make one like we showed for the XL frame that fits in there as a 17. Again, early prototypes, tolerances and little changes are happening each and every iteration until we get it perfected and ready for production. So a flat one with a back strap. You stop. No. Flat one with a back strap. Fill in that little void at the back. If you notice that, fills this in back here. We'll have that one. We'll have the +2, and we'll have the a few more. So stay tuned, guys. Check us out at tactical.dev. So that has been our comparison of the macro and the XL. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and follow, and check out our website, tactical.dev or tacticaldev.com. Either one will get you to the right place. And stay tuned for the new base pads we have coming out, the +2 and the XL 17. Thank you.